The first chapter which we are going to study today is How I Taught My Grandmother to Read by Sudha Murthy. So before we start the chapter, what we will first understand who was Sudha Murthy, right? So Sudha Murthy is an Indian author and she has written multiple novels, mostly short story collections. And this is one of her short story, one of her when she started her journey as a writer. This is one of the first story she has written. So the story is about the importance of education. Okay, so one of the main theme which you will understand after we cover this story is why education is important in our lives, how it helps us to become independent, how it helps us to become independent. Okay, so let's jump to the text and understand what the story is. A beautiful story. When I was a girl of about 12, I used to stay in a village in North Karnataka with my grandparents. So this is Sudha Murthy. She is only saying this is like a autobiographical story, semi-autobiographical. Those days the transport system was not very good. So we used to get the morning paper only in the afternoon. The weekly magazine used to come one day late. All of us would wait eagerly for the bus, which used to come with the papers, weekly magazines, and the post. So we can understand what was the situation during that time. It was the location of the place was remote, a remote location, which definitely means that the magazine used to come one day late, the paper used to arrive in the afternoon. So it was a remote location. At that time, Triveni was a very popular writer in the Kannada language. She was a wonderful writer. Her style was easy to read and very convincing. Her stories usually dealt with complex psychological problems in the lives of ordinary people and were always very interesting. And we will understand here that we are talking about another popular writer. She is talking about another popular writer who used to write in Kannada language. Okay. And we will see that still now, even after 40 years, people read her novels and appreciate her novels. So Triveni is a famous writer. Now, one of her novels called Kashi Yatre, it used to appear weekly in a place, Karmavira. So Karmavira was a magazine, and at that point of time, novels got very less published. Before the publishing of the novels, there were new magazines, or sometimes in the newspapers the stories used to come like serials. Okay, so this is kind of that. So it is a story of, and now we will understand about the story also. We will know what is the story of Karmavira. Sorry, what is the story of Kashi Yatre. So name of the novel is Kashi Yatre, and the name of the weekly where it used to get published is Karmavira. These are all important information. You have to remember all these informations, whatever I'm marking. So it is the story of an old lady and her ardent desire to go to Kashi or Varanasi. Even you can see the meaning of ardent, showing strong feelings. Most Hindus believe that going to Kashi and worshipping Lord Vishweshwara is the ultimate punya. This old lady also believed in this, and her struggle to go there was described in that novel. But ultimately, we will see that she will not go to the to pilgrimage to that pilgrimage, but will give her money to another girl, another orphan girl, for her marriage as a dowry. So the money used as a dowry. So this is what the story was all about. Now, my grandmother, Krishtakka, this is the name of her grandmother, never went to school, so she could not read. But every Wednesday, the magazine would come and I would read the next episode of this to her. So every week, she used to, like Sudha Murthy used to read this story to her, and she used to listen to that story by heart. Like, and she used to memorize also the story by heart. So we will understand that here the grandmother had a great memorizing power. Okay, great memorizing power. One time she used to listen and then she was like, okay, I'm done. She has memorized the entire story. Okay, and she was very interested with the protagonist stories. Who is the protagonist? Protagonist means is the main character of any story. Okay, main character of any novel or any drama is mainly known as protagonist of the story. So she used to identify herself with that old woman, because she also never went to Kashi. So she kind of identified with her. After hearing what happened next in Kashi Yatre, she would join her friends at the temple courtyard where the children also used to go and play hide and seek. And she used to tell the entire episode to her friends. Okay, and now, of course, she never understood why they were so interested about knowing the story, and why they used to discuss a lot about those story, that story mainly. Now we will see the thing what happened basically, which changed the consequences, or what changed the entire circumstances. Once I went for a wedding with my cousins to the neighboring village. In those days, a wedding was a great event. We children enjoyed ourselves thoroughly, used to eat, play, savoring the freedom. Savoring means it is also given. Enjoying an experience slowly. When we sometimes use savoring in food also, like savoring a particular dish, that means we are enjoying it slowly. So during those periods, the children used to savor the freedom, because the adults were all busy, and they used to stay there and play and eat whatever they want to. And I went for a couple of days, but then stayed there for a week. When I came back to my village, I saw my grandmother in tears. I was surprised because she has never seen her crying. So she was worried. She's asking, Ava, is everything all right? Are you okay? I used to call her Ava, which means mother in the Kannada spoken in North Karnataka. So we get to know this. She nodded but did not reply. I did not understand and forgot about it. So, of course, she was a child. In the night after dinner, we were sleeping in the open terrace of the house. It was a summer night and there was full moon. Ava came and sat next to me. Her affectionate hands touched my forehead. I realized she wanted to speak. I asked her, what is the matter? So we can understand here that the grandmother is trying to say something to this child. Okay, trying to express her thoughts to this child. So what she's saying now comes the important part. When I was a young girl, I lost my mother. There was nobody to look after and guide me. My father was a busy man and got married again. In those days, people never considered education essential for girls. So I never went to school. So the grandmother never went to school. She was uneducated. Okay. I got married very young and had children. So she was also uh, she got a victim of a child marriage system. I became very busy. Later, I had grandchildren and always felt so much happiness in cooking and feeding all of you. At times, I used to regret not going to school, so I made sure that my children and grandchildren studied well. Now, she is saying that she couldn't understand why a 62-year-old grandmother is sharing all of this information to a 12-year-old girl in the middle of the night. But she loved her immensely. So she was listening. She could understand that the grandmother was going through something. Her eyes were filled with tears, whereas she mostly smiled most of the time. Okay, she was never sad, she never cried. So that kind of hit this young girl, that what is making my grandmother cry? What is making her sad? Right? So she's saying, Ava, don't cry. What is the matter? Can I help you in any way? Yes, I need your help. Now let's see what the help she's asking. She's saying that Karmavira came as usual and she was away. The child was not there. Where was she? She went to the wedding, right? I opened the magazine, I saw the picture. I could not understand anything because she didn't knew how to read and write. She was illiterate. Many times I rubbed my hands over the pages, wishing they could understand what was written, but I knew it was not possible. I was uneducated. So she said, if only I was educated enough. Like she wanted to study. Now we will get to know what was bothering her. What was bothering her? She was uneducated and she wanted to change that. Okay. I waited eagerly for you to return. I felt you would come early and read for me. I even thought of going to the village and asking. Just see how eager she was to know about the story. And that kind of made her feel helpless. Okay, she thought that I was so helpless and dependent. I did not know what to answer. Ava continued. I have decided I want to learn the Kannada alphabet from tomorrow onwards. I will work very hard. I will keep Saraswati Puja day during the Sera as the deadline. That day I should be able to read a novel on my own. I want to be even she's keeping a deadline. She doesn't want to do it for a long time. She's keeping a deadline that by this day I want to finish my education. Like I at least I should be able to read a novel by my own. That is her target. So I saw the determination on her face. Ava at this age, but still she laughed at her. See, of course she was a child. Of course she was a child. And even I think still now, if someone gets to know that a 60-year-old or a 65-year-old woman is trying to read, trying to learn something, everyone mocks at her. Everyone laughs at her or them. So same here we will see she was a child. She didn't knew what life the old grandmother went through, so she laughed. Ava, at this age of 62, you want to learn the alphabet. All your hair is grey, your hands are wrinkled, you wear spectacles, and you work so much in the kitchen. Childishly, I made fun of the old lady, but she just smiled. For a good cause, if you are determined, you can overcome any obstacle. This line is very beautiful. You can use this also in your life, right? If you are determined for a good cause, you can overcome any obstacle. I will work harder than anybody, but I will do it. For learning, there is no age bar, of course. Right? The next day onwards, I started my tuition. Ava was a wonderful student. The amount of homework she did was amazing. She would read, repeat, write, and recite. This is because of dedication. When you are dedicated to do something, you will do it better than others who are not dedicated enough, who don't love it, who doesn't have a purpose. Little did I know then that one day I would become a teacher in computer science and teach hundreds of students. So actually, this is true. Okay, Sudha Murthy was a teacher also. The Dashera festival came as usual. Secretly, I bought Kashi Yatre, which had been published as a novel by that time. My grandmother called me to the puja place and made me sit down on a stool. She gave me a gift of a frock material. Then she did something unusual. What she did? She bent down and touched my feet. I was surprised and taken aback. We know only elders do that. Elders never touch the feet of youngsters. Of course, the young, they touch the feet of their parents, their teachers, their elders. We consider that as a mark of respect. But now she said, I'm touching the feet of a teacher, not my granddaughter. A teacher who taught me so well with so much of affection that I can read any novel confidently in such a short period. Now I am independent. It is my duty to respect a teacher. Is it not written in our scriptures that a teacher should be respected, irrespective of the gender and age, right? Scripture means holy writings, of course. Over there, it is mentioned that teacher has no age bar. Whoever is your teacher, you have to respect them. Doesn't matter what gender or what age he or she is belonging to. I did return Namaskara to her by touching her feet and gave my gift to my first student. She opened it. What was the gift? That was a novel, Kashi Yatre by Triveni and the publisher's name. And I knew that my student had passed with flying colors. She already read it. She opened it and read immediately the title and the name of the author. And she was like, I am successful as a teacher because the person has learned how to read and write. So this is the story of your the first chapter of your book. So this was a beautiful story. Here also the about author is given. Sudha Murthy was born in 1950 in North Karnataka. She has written 7 novels, 4 technical books, 3 travelogues, and 2 collection of short stories. One is Wise and Otherwise, which is very good, which has been translated into 13 Indian languages. Okay, and her writing is very simple, very simple, and it connects with everyone. It is very good, a very good writing. Now you can solve these questions. These questions we can do in the next class. So this was it for today.